The Storm Tracker 2 team, where we track storms. Where the news comes first. News Channel 2.
Tonight at 5, the Oneida Indian Nation is getting ready to open its first dispensary, but first, it needs employees.
Also tonight, a local hospital and a police department expand mental health services. And
Holland Patent house fire, 5 departments on the scene right now.
First, we're following breaking news into the News Channel 2 newsroom out of Nevada, a shooting at UNLV.
The number of casualties is unclear, but police do say the suspect is dead. Students at this hour are still being told to shelter in place. Shots were fired in the university's business school building, and additional shots were later reported in the student union. Authorities say there appeared to be multiple victims, but again, details are not known. NBC News has reporters on scene working to get that information.
Several departments fought a house fire on Coombs Road in Holland Patent this afternoon. The fire chief says one woman lived in the house and got out safely, as did 2 dogs, but they're still looking for a cat. The call came in as a report of a wood stove on fire. The fire chief says it started in the center of the home, and they're looking at a possible cause in the center of the chimney.
The fire broke into the attic and started running in the attic on us, so we had to get inside with a crew and pull ceilings to knock the bulk of the fire down. So we had interior crews inside for about 20 minutes, and we were able to knock the bulk of the flames down then.
The occupant of the home told fire officials she did not need Red Cross assistance.
In case you missed it, the chief physician executive of MVHS is leaving the position. We heard from Dr. Kent Hall a number of times during the COVID-19 pandemic. He helped guide the hospital system and the community through the uncertainty. He also played a large role in the move to the new Wynn Hospital. Dr. Hall will retire at the end of January.
Bassett Healthcare Network is getting more than $480,000 from the federal government to increase telemedicine services. U.S. Senator Chuck Schumer says the money will be used to equip sites in 4 counties, including Otsego and Herkimer. The goal is to help people in rural areas get a detailed physical. Schumer says the money comes from the USDA. Locally, 914 people are expected to benefit.
Rome Health is expanding access to inpatient psychiatric care by lowering the age of patients it accepts. Now, anyone 45 years or older can seek treatment for acute symptoms associated with mental health. That includes clinical depression, anxiety disorder, bipolar illness. For 20 years, Rome's behavioral health unit was for seniors 65 and older, but the hospital is seeing a growing need based on data from the Rome Health Emergency Room.
We admit people on 2 different ways. We can admit them voluntarily if they come in and they think that they need more help than they're getting in the community, they need more intensive treatment, or a physician can deem that they're not safe and that they need to come here for their safety.
Signs of crisis include thoughts of suicide, loss of interest in regular activities, hallucinations, poor appetite, or overeating. Rome Health has 12 beds in its behavioral unit. The decision regarding admission is made by the unit's medical director. The governor today announced funding for 13 behavioral health clinics across the state. One is Upstate Caring Partners and its Giotto Center along the arterial in Utica. $265,000 will establish a walk-in clinic for mental health and substance abuse disorder services.
And it's all about that integrated care, that there's not one size fits all, that you come here for one service, you go there for another. It's all under one roof. We'll soon have 39 clinics. This will help serve thousands of New Yorkers, literally tripling the number of we've had since I came into office, and making sure that we continue these investments.
The governor also announced $11 million statewide to help individuals without insurance. Meantime, the Herkimer Police Department has welcomed a crisis counselor. Caitlin Reimstein will partner with the police officers when someone is experiencing a mental health crisis to help that person get the help they need and to increase overall safety for everyone involved. The crisis response team is a collaboration between Herkimer PD and the Neighborhood Center's mobile crisis assessment team.
Oneida County farmer Jacob Addington has thrown his hat in the ring in the race for the 22nd Congressional District. Addington, a Democrat, grew up in Secoit and is a Marine Corps veteran. He joins State Senator John Mannion, DeWitt Town Councilor Sarah Clee Hood, and Utica Associate Professor Clemmy Harris in seeking the Democratic nomination to take on freshman Republican Representative Brandon Williams. A Democratic primary race would take place on June 25th. The stage is set in Alabama for the 4th GOP presidential debate, and the field of candidates is shrinking. Julia Benbrook reports.
Former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy, and former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie have all qualified for tonight's event. It's the smallest group yet, giving the candidates more time to make their case to voters.
More time for these candidates to get more in depth, to either talk about their own issue agenda or to more directly attack former President Trump or even President Biden.
Josh Bramlett teaches political public relations at the University of Alabama, where the debate is being held. He says strategically it makes sense for the party's frontrunner, former President Donald Trump, to skip out.
Candidates have more to gain in a debate when it is a very close race, when they have to establish their name recognition.
But those candidates hitting the stage tonight say they'd like a chance to challenge Trump, who faces an array of legal troubles, head on.
I'm waiting for him to get on a debate stage. He can't keep hiding the way he's hiding.
Why Donald Trump refuses to debate is just beyond me. I mean, you know, if you're doing so well, you should want to go up there and make your case.
All eyes will be on DeSantis and Haley as they compete to become Trump's chief primary rival, ahead of the Iowa caucuses. In Tuscaloosa, Alabama, I'm Julia Benbrook.
Former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is calling it quits. The California Republican announced he is resigning from Congress at the end of the year. In January, he battled through 15 grueling rounds to win the Speaker's gavel. However, in an historic move, his fellow Republicans removed him from the position for working with Democrats on a stopgap spending bill. McCarthy was first elected to Congress in 2007.
Time for our first look at the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis.
Kind of a pretty scene here this morning. A little bit of light snow, a pretty quiet afternoon. We're tracking another round of light snow that arrives tomorrow. This is a live look at our Yorkville Battery Stern Tracker 2 Doppler radar. A few flurries continue south of the Mohawk Valley as colder air works in from the north. Our current temperature is 28 degrees. It feels like 19 with that northwest wind. A weak cold front has dropped in, and it is going to be colder tonight. A lot of places drop down into the low 20s and teens. Light snow returns tomorrow, part of a warm front that will bring a significant warm-up in our weather as we head into the weekend. This evening, just a few flurries out there, especially south. Temperatures in the 20s, so a cold one out there tonight. Again, we're tracking some much warmer weather ahead. Look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Continuing coverage on a story that we first told you about back in June. Race officials have made it official. The Belmont Stakes will run in Saratoga next year.
How cool is that? A major renovation is taking place at the track in Long Island, forcing the final leg of the Triple Crown to find a new home. Saratoga will be it. The 156th running of the Belmont Stakes in Saratoga will be June 8th, but a 4-day festival is being planned around it starting on the 6th.
Add one more great to the hallowed halls of Cooperstown. Joe Castiglione is the 2024 Ford C. Frick Award winner, an award that recognizes excellence in broadcasting. Castiglione called Red Sox games on the radio for a record 41 seasons. And while he's not from New York, Hall of Fame weekend will be a homecoming. Castiglione attended Colgate University for his undergrad and Syracuse for his master's. He joins former Major League manager Jim Leyland as part of this year's class. The writer's ballot results will be announced in January.
Taylor Swift's banner year continues as she is named Time's 2023 Person of the Year. The 33-year-old pop star has dominated headlines this year, from her record-breaking Eras tour to the re-release of 2 of her albums, Speak Now and 1989, which included nearly a dozen previously unreleased songs. Swift beat out a wide-ranging pool of finalists for the title, including Barbie and King Charles III.
I think they picked the right one.
Okay, Jason spoke.
There you go. Well, the man who made history with TV sitcoms All in the Family and Jeffersons has died at 101 years old. Tonight, we remember Norman Lear.
Plus, it's not the holiday season in Rome until the Nutcracker takes the stage. Details on this year's performances at the Rome Capitol Theater coming up.
18 miles of yarn to make this season bright. And it's not your granny's traditional blanket. We're going to take you to Little Falls. That's new at 5:30.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. Just wanted to make mention of all these school buses in front of the desk here. This is for our Stuff the Studio campaign. We've been getting a lot of questions about that. These toys, by the way, donated by many of our viewers, and we appreciate that, and they'll be donated to local families this holiday season. Let's take a look at what's going on out there this evening. Some light snow and flurries continue south of the Mohawk Valley. These snow showers will move out of the area tonight, and we do get a chance to dry out, but we do have some colder air that's dropping in from the north. As these snow showers depart, we'll see some drier, colder air working overnight. A lot of places will fall down into the teens and low 20s. Current temperature 27 degrees. Again, you can see mostly cloudy skies across central New York. Our local temperatures outside of Utica: Whitesboro 26, Little Falls 28, Lake Pleasant 25. Across southern valleys, Norwich 28, Oneonta 25, and Skinevus with 24. So it's pretty cold out there. And again, a lot of places drop into the teens tonight. We are tracking a stationary front. That's a front that is stalled in central New York, and it's going to bring us more light snow tomorrow. In fact, there's a little piece of energy that's working in from the north, and this is going to follow the front tonight, and that's going to become our next weather maker. Just some light snow is expected here for tomorrow. Tonight, mostly cloudy skies. Overnight lows drop down into the upper teens to low 20s. By daybreak tomorrow, light snow is expected. The snow is going to continue for most of the day. It looks very light. Temperatures climb into the low to mid 30s. So at least during the day, the snow will be having a hard time sticking on roads and treated surfaces. Tomorrow night, still a few flurries around early, but we will get a chance to dry out. Mainly cloudy skies, overnight lows in the low 30s. And then Friday looks warmer. Temperatures climb into the upper 30s to low 40s, with cloudy skies giving way to some breaks of sunshine. We're expecting some light accumulation of snow tomorrow. For most of us, it's about an inch of accumulation, about half an inch to an inch in the Mohawk Valley. North of the Mohawk Valley, the higher elevations could get 1 to 2 inches. There's not expected to be a big travel impact with this, but again, it's going to be enough where you're going to have to brush off the car if you leave it out in the parking lot for several hours tomorrow. Looking ahead to Sunday, we've got a significant warm-up expected, but then the next weather maker for the weekend could pack a punch here Sunday night with wind, locally heavy rain, and this could end as some snow, maybe even some accumulating snow by early Monday. Mostly cloudy skies tonight, low temperature of 20. Light snow tomorrow, temperatures in the mid-30s. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. We do warm up. We'll be in the 40s Friday and Saturday, into the 50s on Sunday. I think either Sunday or Monday will end up being alert days just based on the impact here. We're talking rain, wind, and snow, and we're just trying to figure out which is going to be more significant than the other. So if you have plans over the weekend and they're involving the outdoors, definitely stay tuned.
And then there's the changeover, because you're going from 56 to 30.
It's going to get cold pretty quickly.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh boy. All right, thanks, Bill.
Bill, thank you. 2023 officially the hottest year on record. The global temperature nearly 35 degrees warmer than pre-industrial levels. Scientists have said 2023's exceptional warmth is the result of the combined effects of El Nino and human-caused climate change.
NASA is celebrating the 25th anniversary of the International Space Station. The first 2 elements of the orbital outpost were launched on December 6, 1998. The ISS has been visited by 273 people from 21 countries. Astronauts have continuously lived and worked aboard the space station for more than 23 years, testing technologies and performing science experiments. Now, the next mission to the moon is delayed. NASA's Artemis 3 mission was scheduled for December of 2025, but the agency has faced multiple challenges, including complex technical work on the human landing system and the design of the spacesuits. If NASA officially delays the launch date for Artemis 3 to 2027, it would end up being 1 year sooner than its original goal of 2028.
So can you call it a delay? Still ahead of schedule.
Still early.
Coming up, New York flu numbers are on the rise. We're going to go county by county.
Also tonight, an NBC News exclusive on the weapons of war being used by Hamas.
Tonight's Skycast is brought to you by the Nye Automotive Group.
The Cooperstown Cam is brought to you by Utica National Insurance Group.
Thanks for joining us. The United Nations says 80% of Gaza's population has been forced to flee their homes during the Israel-Hamas war.
This as NBC News reveals evidence of violence against Israeli women during the October 7th Hamas massacre. Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
At a time when two major conflicts are stoking global unrest, President Biden making the case to keep supporting American allies, especially Ukraine.
Stand against the tyranny of Putin. Stand for freedom.
Republican lawmakers insist any new Ukraine funding must be tied to major investments in U.S. border security.
If we're going to help secure the people in Ukraine and in Israel, we also have to secure our own people.
I support real solutions at the border.
But bipartisan talks over new border policy broke down, and the White House is adamant Ukraine will run out of money to fight off Russia and could lose the war if Congress fails to act by the end of the year.
They're willing to literally kneecap Ukraine on the battlefield and damage our national security in the process.
As the president makes his pitch, Attorney General Merrick Garland today announcing war crime charges against 4 Russian soldiers accused of torturing an American citizen living in Ukraine during the invasion. In another devastating conflict, NBC News has exclusive reporting about the mounting evidence of heinous acts of sexual violence against dozens of Israeli women and girls during the October 7th Hamas terror attacks.
It was about targeting people to shame them.
The accounts only adding to the desperation of the families of hostages Hamas is still holding in Gaza, where the United Nations says the stepped-up Israeli ground invasion in the south is fueling an increasingly apocalyptic situation for Palestinian civilians, with extreme shortages of food, water, medicine, and anywhere to find safety. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
WKTV.com right now. In case you missed it, the race for Oneida County Court Judge starts now with a candidate announcement. Plus, it's trending. Funny money is circulating locally. Find out where. And ahead of Hanukkah, a look at how the holiday is celebrated around the globe. Those stories and more at WKTV.com.
Coming up, easy to get off track this time of year, how to have a happy and healthy holiday season. For the first time, the National Transportation Safety Board convened a roundtable of aviation and medical experts to discuss the topic of pilots' mental health and how to reduce the stigma around reporting concerns. Now, the meeting comes in the midst of what is expected to be a record holiday travel season for U.S. air travel. Karen Kafa reports.
I do want to acknowledge that this can be a difficult topic for some.
The National Transportation Safety Board leading an expert discussion on pilots and mental health.
Let me be clear. The safety risk comes from a culture of silence around mental health, not about seeking help.
Recent research from the University of North Dakota found more than half of pilots avoid seeking health care of some type, fearing they'll lose their FAA medical certification and their ability to fly. That includes mental health concerns, from which experts emphasized pilots are not immune.
They're dealing with their people too. You know, they're dealing with their families, they're dealing with their stresses, and now they're also having to get people to where they need to be during the holiday season, which also can be very stressful.
The case of Joseph Emerson, an off-duty pilot indicted Tuesday on 84 counts in an Oregon court, accused of trying to shut off the engines of a plane mid-flight in October, put the issue of pilot mental health front and center. Emerson told police he'd been depressed for months, if not years. His defense team said he never intended to hurt or put anyone at risk. The government looking to balance passenger safety with the well-being of pilots and other aviation workers.
It's not just the right thing to do, it's the safe thing to do. What's unsafe is pretending the status quo is acceptable.
On Tuesday, the FAA announced a special committee to explore changes to pilot mental health rules, aiming to break down barriers to disclosure and seeking help. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
A sawed-off shotgun and methamphetamine is seized as part of a police investigation into a suspected drug house. Plus, Oneida Enterprises will soon be opening a new dispensary in Verona, and it's not the only one.